Coming up on today's show.
I also cleared out and renovated and got ready for sale and sold our family home of almost 60 years.
Writing is one of those things that I think is therapeutic. You have all these things in your mind, whether they're emotions or ideas.
Letting go is a path to the present. So that was really helpful. And, for some of you, meditation, mindfulness may not be something that you want to pursue, but I can say without a doubt, for me, it was extremely helpful, and it continues to be.
10 ways that I learned to let go today on Keeping You Organized. Well, hello and welcome to Keeping You Organized. Today, our show is about letting go, and in the title, I said but it's not really about me. It's about our guest today, and I'm going to bring on Linda Samuels from Oh So Organized and the Other Side of Organized, her blog. And Linda, welcome to Keeping You Organized.
Thanks so much for having me here again, John. It's always great speaking with you.
Yep. Well, we're going to talk about learning how to let go. Letting go is something that's hard for people to do. And I think we're going to get a lot of your personal experience as well, since we have I in the title. You want to kind of set up a little bit about what we're talking about today?
Absolutely. So in the last 7 months, aside from working with clients and blogging and all of that, I also cleared out and renovated and got ready for sale and sold our family home of almost 60 years. It wasn't the home I live in, but the home I grew up in.
Wow.
And in that process, it was a huge thing to do. And in the process, there was so much letting go that had to be done. It was hard at times. It was painful at times. And so I realized that there were many things that helped me along the way to let go, and that I wanted to share them with all of you because some of you may be experiencing similar things, or even other types of letting go situations that some of these strategies might be helpful for you.
Well, great. I know we have several to get through, so let's get started. What do you think? What's the first way?
Okay, so the first way is that I love to write, and I wrote for others. So on the blog that I write, The Other Side of Organized, there were many posts that I shared about the process of what I was going through. And I actually focused them on the different treasures that I found. Mm-hmm. And in the process of writing for others, there was dialogue that happened on the blog. Others shared their experiences. So not only did it help me to process and let go a little more post by post, but it helped others to be able to share and support as we went along. So that was very helpful.
Well, writing is one of those things that I think is therapeutic. You have all these things in your mind, whether they're emotions or ideas, and even when you're kind of trying to get organized for what to do, you want to take it out of your mind and put it on paper. So I can see how that's a great way to help let go, is at least downloading it out of your mind.
Absolutely. There's nothing like the download.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to number 2, the second way that you learned to let go.
So number 2 was that I talked with loved ones. And you can't underestimate the power of having someone that you trust, a family member, a friend, just listen to what you're going through. So when you're letting go, you don't have to do it alone. And even though there's a physical aspect to letting go, if you're letting go of possessions and things like that, there's also the emotional part. So being able to have that listening ear really, really helped. And it was huge for me as I was navigating all the transitions and the transformations and the changes, to just have that kind of support. So I encourage each of you that if you're having difficulty with letting go, find that friend, find that family member that you can talk with.
Well, what's nice about that versus the writing too is that you can you get that verbal feedback from others, and that actually helps process the ideas through better as well. So.
Right. And you might even get some hugs, which helps.
Ooh, those are always nice too. You bet. All right. Well, how about number 3?
So number 3 is that I practiced mindfulness. And I think we might have talked about this in perhaps another podcast, but about a year and a half ago, I started doing mindfulness meditation and trying to consciously live more mindfully. I mean, in general, I'd say I'm a fairly mindful person, but adding that meditation piece kind of changed it in a way. So what happened was that I realized that that process of meditating daily, what it helped me to do was it helped me to focus on the present, make peace with the past, and not be so anxious about the future. And that whole process, that the mindfulness really taught me that letting go is a path to the present. So that was really helpful. And, you know, for some of you, meditation, mindfulness may not be something that you want to pursue, but I can say without a doubt, for me, it was extremely helpful, and it continues to be.
Well, I even on like with my wife, I'll tell her I need some thinking time, and you know, really getting your thoughts organized and having just some time to do that. I'm assuming that, you know, taking some time to do this is also part of that piece, because, you know, if you can get a couple hours where you're not interrupted and you can actually just think through things, I think that is really helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. True. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into some more of these tips, the 10 things that or we should say Linda Samuels, learned about letting go, and we'll be right back. Now, there's a place just for you. Life can be busy, and you still have to keep it all together. That's why you like to be organized and in control. Introducing MyOrganized.life, a special place where you can get ideas and solutions to organize what's important to you, your important papers, your important decisions, your important life events. We show you the ideas and products to stay organized in your life. See what's new. Stop by and say hello. Visit us at any time at www.myorganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life by Smead. Find us at www.myorganized.life. MyOrganized.life. We're back now on Keeping You Organized, talking about the 10 things I learned on how to let go by Linda Samuels. This should be a book too, but it is a blog post. Linda, before the break, we kind of covered some of the initial ones of, you know, writing it down, speaking it out, thinking it through. Now let's get on to number 4. What would be the next way to let go?
Okay, now this is one of my favorites. Okay, so this one is laughing out loud. And yeah.
Yeah, let's just laugh about that right now.
Nice cue, John.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate the value of humor and laughter when you're going through challenging times. And I think, well, I'll share the story with you. So while I was on the last day that Junk Luggers was coming to pick up the last bunch of stuff to clear out the final things in the house, they had just cleared out my dad's office with the credenza and the desk, and they'd left, and I noticed something on the floor, and I bent down to pick it up. I'm going to show you what it is.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see this. It was this little tiny button. It's like a computer key. Can you see what that says?
Oy vey, yes.
Oy vey.
Good.
And I burst out laughing. It was a little toy I had given my father years and years ago. My father's been gone now for 6 years. And I just burst out laughing because when I gave it to him, he burst out laughing. Yeah. And I remembered that. And I just had a moment there of thinking about my dad and about the connection that we always had. Humor was a big one. We loved to laugh together.
Yeah.
And just realizing how laughter is there and humor is there even in some of the hardest times. So I felt his support and his love of laughter all in the oy vey button that I found.
I love that. That's great. And I believe too, laughter is just one of those things where you get in a situation, even a tense situation, and sometimes laughter just kind of breaks the tension. So,
Absolutely.
All right. Well, how about let's get on to number 5 now.
Okay. So number 5 is documenting the process. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I love taking photographs. I'm not like a world-class photographer, and I just use my iPhone, but I'm constantly, taking images of what I see.
Hmm.
So going through this process of clearing out the house, I took tons of photos, both of the physical things that I was finding, what I called the treasures,
Hmm.
um, but also of the transformation. So when different parts of, like when we ripped out the rugs and refinished the floors or painted the rooms, or when the pianos got shipped out, all of this I took photos and videos of. And it wasn't just that I took them, but I then shared them while I was going through the process. And we had dialogue. I texted them to my husband, my children, and my siblings. And so it was a way of sharing and documenting those physical things, and also the memories, and getting ready to imagine what was going to happen next, which
Mm.
basically was clearing out the house and preparing it for the next family. So it not only helped me let go, but I think it helped certainly my siblings let go, and maybe my kids too, to this anchor in our life, to this family home that's been in the family for 57 years.
Well, and part of that, I'm sure, is stories that are shared with one another, and that's. I mean, I still, my dad passed away. It was about 12 years ago, and still when I get together with my brothers and sisters, we'll just tell stories.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to tell stories about even funny things they did, like your oy vey,
Right.
thing, and you probably remember back to when you gave it to them and that laugh. And so I think those things are, again, I mean, these are great tips, Linda, on letting go, because they're good, therapeutic ways, and they're simple too. It's not like you really have to do
No.
something really hard to make it happen.
Now, if you would like, I'm happy to share, if we have time, I can share with you one of the treasures that I found.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to hold it up. Can you see
Okay.
that?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is a powder box,
Uh-huh.
right? And then in it is a watch.
Okay. Oh.
Watch. Okay. Nice watch, right?
Yep.
And there's a note. Now I found this in my mother's dresser when I was clearing out
Yep.
that part. And this is a note that my mother wrote. And so my mother was not part of the process. It was pretty much just me clearing out the house. My mom wasn't there to do this. So she writes that this is my grandfather's watch in my grandmother's powder box.
Mm.
And she wrote, she kept this, meaning my grandma kept this in her top vanity drawer after my grandfather died. And my mom writes, I took it with me when I packed up her house to close it when
Wow.
he died. And so my heart just started beating, because first of all, I was with my mom when she closed up my grandma's house, but I'm finding this note as I'm closing up my mom's house. And the dresser that she talks about, that my grandma kept this watch in, I actually have that dresser from
Oh,
my grandma's house.
wow. That's neat.
So again, it was like this treasure, and it was sort of this feeling of, I'm clearing out this house. I'm doing this as my mother had done this for her mother. The family's all connected in all these ways. And again, finding these kinds of notes and treasures, pieces of my family, this helped me to day by day let go of ultimately what I had to do.
And I bet you told your daughter about that story, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
The whole family heard this story.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Well, Linda, we're about out of time on this episode. And I know we have 5 more tips we want to cover. So can you come back next time and we'll get the remaining 5?
Absolutely. Happy to share them with you.
Great. Well, before we go, let people know what you're involved in, how they can get a hold of you, and even what kind of services you might provide.
Sure. Well, the best way to get a hold of me is through my website, ohsoorganized.com, or the other side of organized.com, 2 websites. And I love working with clients to help them get rid of the clutter, let go of the things that are bogging them down, so they can make space in their lives for what's most important. And that's pretty much what I do every day, and I love it.
Awesome.
I also write. I'm a blogger, so very easy to get in touch with me.
Awesome. Yes. And we do feature you on our blogger roundup on our Facebook show occasionally on Fridays. All right, Linda. Well, we'll be back next time. We'll cover the remaining 5 tips are things that you learned about letting go. And folks, it's time for us to let go of this podcast episode, and we'll see you next time on Keeping You Organized.